Namaste. Last week we started our kind of annual series about the eight limb path of yoga. So last week we discussed the first one, which is about the yamas, and yamas means to control. So the five subheadings under the yamas are meant to be part of our practice as far as self-restraint and self-control is concerned. We discussed those heavily last week. So this week we're moving on to step number 2 of the eight limb path of yoga, which is niyamas. And the niyamas are observances that we should practice. So things that we should put into play. And the first one is Saucha, which means cleanliness or purity. So if we think about cleanliness and purity, we often think, oh, general, just personal hygiene, which I know we're all good at. We bathe, we wear deodorant, we wash our hair, we kind of present ourselves in a certain way to the world. I don't know, during the pandemic, it may be something different. But it goes much farther than personal hygiene. So think about, in the totality of your life thus far, different habits we may have picked up. And these habits could be good or bad for us. They could benefit us or be, a detriment to us. And so when we're going through this practice and we're doing the self-study and really, diving within and building more awareness, we start to discover, well, is there anything in my life that I need to clean up or clean out? I know with yoga over the course of the years, I've gotten more and more sensitive energetically to things that I exposed myself to. And certain days I'm more sensitive than others, but there may be certain days where something's on something's being shown on TV and I completely contract, or I feel my body cells starting to distort. Same thing with music. There's certain days and certain moments where certain um, types of music just repel me and I just can't listen to it. So we need to pay attention to that. How can we clean up things in our environment? You know, um, there are luckily more like cleaning solutions that are more green. You can even make some of your own cleaning solutions now with essential oils, a blend of alcohol and water. Um, I'm trying to think of other things. It's not just about the food we eat, which we should clean up our diet, but it's about what we're watching, what we're reading, the environments that we're putting ourselves into, whether there's toxicity or whether it's, a wholesome type of environment. Even cleaning up our home, we're getting close to spring, so you may be thinking about spring cleaning. Clearing out the clutter, clearing out the things that you no longer use, need, or love from your home. Saging your house, ringing a bell through your house is a great way to clean up the energy in your home. I'm going to stick with that. Let your imagination run as you run through your practice today, and be contemplative on maybe some things that you should clean up or clean out in your life. This is Saucha. This is the first Niyama. I'm going to meet you on the mat. In our first pose, we're going to get right into the hips. And I want you to make the pigeon pose kind of restorative. So if you can see, I have a bolster on my mat. If you don't have a bolster at home, grab a pillow off your bed and you can use that. All right, I'll meet you on the mat. So we're just doing our pranayama, our breath work, as a way to center in this first pose. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can make the pigeon pose restorative. So if you really want to melt down into your hips, you could have, your left knee bent in front with a bolster in front of you to lay your chest on. And you can feel free to turn to one cheek. Another option that's really lovely is to turn that bolster sideways, to step out over it, square the hips once you're settled on top of it, And then you can come down to Sphinx arms or prayer hands. And some of you might want to come on down, creating a headrest with your arms or stacked hands. So discover which one of those you would like to start your practice with today. Remember, the hips are considered kind of the junk drawer of the body, where things can get deposited that we haven't quite processed. Or let go of. Close your eyes. Begin your breath work. Breathing in and out through the nose. Even our pranayama is a great thing for purification because it helps to purify the nerve roots. When we're doing our deep belly breathing, it can help to clean out our digestive tract. But notice how the pranayama work also helps to clean out any excess thoughts or negative thinking from the mind. As the breath rolls up into your chest towards your heart, let it purify your heart. Let it purify your spirit. Feel free to ignite the Ujjayi breath, where we constrict the back of the throat and make the breath a little more audible to hear. When I talk about Saucha, I can't help but think of the throat center, because the throat center is called Vishuddha, which also translates to mean purification. Three more deep breaths. Inhale, we'll slowly start to rise and back away from the pose to switch sides. Now, of course, it depends on which one you're doing. But whichever one you decide to perform, get set up with your right knee in front, using the pillow or bolster as a prop to make it a little bit more restorative. Bow down, close the eyes. Continue that light Ujjayi breathing. Jai means victory. So it gives us the opportunity to gain victory over the mind. Consider using this breath work at a time where you may be trying to discern what it is that you need or need to be doing, or at times where you get triggered. Because that victorious breath can help you to become the victor in that moment. Patiently observing your body and mind's response. And on your next in-breath, we'll come up affirming, I rise above the past and the future to this eternal moment of now. We'll back our way out of that position, scoot that bolster off to the side, ground and root your hands and knees to tabletop position, suctioning the belly in for a moment. On your next inhale, stretch the left leg back and your right arm forward, seabird balance. Balance and breathe. Exhale, release, and then extend your right leg and lift your left arm. Gaze at one sedentary spot. And exhale, release. Inhale, let's move into cow tilt, Vipalasana. Exhale, rolling it out to cat stretch. Inhale, Vipalasana, cow tilt. Exhale, cat stretch. Inhale, cow tilt. Exhale, cat stretch. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands walk forward, curl the toes, and take downward facing dog. Pressing into the balls of the feet as well as through the mounds of the hands, and soaring the seat as high as possible to become the pinnacle of the pose. Next inhale, let's bring the feet to the top of the mat, however you'd like to arrive. Ardha Uttanasana, and then exhale, bow out. Releasing the head, staying stacked and structured through the legs. Affirming here as you hold nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back. I choose to clean up my life. On your next inhale, let's go ahead and reach the arms overhead. Let the arms frame the face. And exhale, bring the hands to the heart to Samastitihi. All right, we're going to continue this flow of movement. Inhale, circle the arms nice and wide. Palms face each other. Exhale, we're going to bring the palms together today and humbly bow right through the center. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway up. And exhale, roll it back down. Inhale, we're going to step the left foot back and immediately come up to crescent lunge. And then as we exhale, we're going to fold down over the front thigh, reaching the arms back. Stay sturdy on your feet as you inhale. Bring that spine so it's erect again. And then exhale, hinge from the hips. One more. Inhale, flying up. Exhale, take it down. Pause here for a couple extra breaths. Release the hands down as well as the back knee, shin, foot. Stack on your fist and lower the face. Dragging Sinking downward through the hips. Releasing that iliopsoas muscle. Inhale, lift the head, curl the back toes, pop up that back knee, and step into plank. Exhale to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and exhaling to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a cleansing breath here in through your nose. Blow it out through your mouth. Inhale, the left foot's going to step through between the hands. Immediately coming up to your crescent lunge. Once you're established here, we'll begin the flow of movement. Exhale, dive over. Squeeze that left hip in. Inhale, rise to crescent. Exhale, hinge out over the front thigh. One more, inhaling up. Exhaling down, hold, and breathe. Notice when you ground them out of the big toe and you clip the left hip in, how it stabilizes the knee and keeps that thigh externally rotating. Exhale, land your hands, back knee, shin, foot. Feel free to stack on fist and feel at liberty to bow your head. As we continue through this series of the 8-1 Path of Yoga, we'll talk about the senses a few steps down or a few weeks from now, but we're talking about Saucha, cleanliness, and purification in our Moonbeam teacher training, and I've shared with you guys in classes in the past, the sister science of Ayurveda provides some great ways to cleanse the senses for the day. It could be rinsing the eye out with rose water. It could be using the neti pot to clean out the nasal passages and the nose. It could be oil pulling, using coconut oil or sesame oil to swish in the mouth to clear it out. It could be sesame oil in the ears, or nasya oil in the nose. So we can even purify our senses. On your next inhale, let's lift the face, let's curl the back toes, pop up that back knee, step the back foot forward, lift up halfway upon arrival, and then exhale, lower down and in. Inhaling, coming all the way up to the top. Exhale, hands to heart. Continue on with this flow. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, palms together as we bow straight through the center. Once you fold and drape your head down, we're going to inhale, step the left foot back. When we step the left foot back, we're going to ground the left hand to the floor as the right arm soars up in the air. Stay with your breath. Remember, twisting is good for getting the lactic acid out of the muscles, giving the squeeze and soak effect to the abdominal organs and glands. And the breath can also help to purify the lungs. Saucha is happening here. Lower the right hand down, heel toe the right foot over to the edge of your mat. You can be stacked on hands or fist, but I want the right toes to face straight ahead. I want the right knee to hug in towards your right arm, and then you can determine if you want the back knee up or resting on your mat. If you wanted to bring the prop in underneath your forearms to bring the floor to you, if you'd like to surrender all the way down to the floor, you can also do that. Just try not to allow that right knee to wing out or away. Next inhale, we'll stack back onto the hands. Curl the back toes under, step into plank. Get ready for the vinyasa. Moving through that sequence until you arrive in downward facing dog. Cleansing breath here in through your nose, out through your mouth. Inhale, left foot steps to the front of the mat. Ground your right hand, spin the navel towards that front thigh. Squeeze the left hip in. Fan the fingers on the top hand and breathe. Exhale, lower the left hand down, heel toe that foot over to the edge, stacking on hands or fists, keeping back knee up or down. Determining from here, after you've had a moment, if you want to sink a little lower, try not to allow that left knee to flop away, hug it into the shoulder, and make sure the foot's not turning out. When you're ready, stacking back onto the hands, moving the prop out of the way, curling the back toes under, stepping back to your plank. Shift forward, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale, rise into upward facing, and exhale, rolling back to downward facing dog. Inhale, bring the feet to the top of the mat, lift up halfway. Exhale, bow out. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart. One more sense out. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold straight through the middle. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, lower back in. Inhale, the left foot's gonna step back. I want you to take your left hand slightly forward of where your right hand is. You're gonna turn your right foot about 45 degrees, spin open, so you're just resting on the outer edge of the foot. You can flip to the outside of your back foot and sweep the right arm up, but if that's too challenging, or feels bad to the knee, just stay on the ball of the back foot, just like you would in regular lunge. From the soma lunge, slowly turn back to the ball of the back foot, lower the right hand down, lower the back knee to the floor. Move my hands out of the way so you can see. I'm actually going to peel up the interior portion of the sole of the foot, and the knee is going to wing out. You can stay stacked with straight arms, or you can fold towards the floor. This is the low flying winged dragon. This is more of a yin pose. Yin poses target the connective tissues. And if you want to take it into the twist, you can stack your right hand on the right thigh. Roll the right shoulder open and gaze back over it. Unwind from that twist. Root the right foot. Relift that knee. Curl the back toes. Step it into plank. Rock forward, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale to Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Cleansing breath while you're here. Left foot steps through. Once you step that foot through, walk your right hand slightly beyond it. Turn your left foot out about 45 degrees. Roll to the outer edge of the foot. Determine if you want to stay there with your back foot or spin down to the outer edge and fly the left arm skyward. Breathing. Not taking that breath for granted. Exhale, turn back to the ball of the back foot. Sink the back knee to the floor. Continue to peel the internal part of the sole of the foot off the ground so the knee actually wings away from the body. Determining if you want to stay stacked on palms, lower to forearms. Low flying winged dragon. Maybe taking the twist. Exhale, unwind out of the twist. Inhale, re-stack onto the hands and the left foot. Curl the back toes under, stepping into plank, last vinyasa. Cleansing breath in down dog. You're ready. Coming down to the knees. Come down to the knees. We're going to separate the thighs. The hands are going to spin around so the fingers are facing you. You're going to spill down onto your wrist. We're going to do the lion's breath. This is said to be purifying for the throat and for the mouth, even medicinal for bad breath. So let's take a deep inhale in through your nose. Exhale, expel out the tongue, breathe out. 2 more. Last one. Feel the hands up. Rest the back of the hands on that hip crease, the upper part of your thighs as a counter. Shake out the hands if you need to. All right. So I mentioned earlier the Vishuddha center, which is the throat center, is also the center of purification. So we're going to do a little flow series here where we're going to work into bridge. And you can use your bolster or pillow when we go into supported bridge. However, you might also want a block, which, you know, it's a little stabler. So we're going to have our feet in front of us. We're going to do a little core work first. So once you get down on your sits bones and your knees are bent, and instead of the feet being all the way in, send them more forward, and you'll understand why in a moment. As you inhale, we're going to lift the arms and extend the back. And then as we exhale, we contract the belly and roll halfway towards the floor. Inhale, come up. Exhale, roll back. Continue. When you lift, there's going to be some separation between your chin and your chest. When you roll back, it's like you're tucking the chin to the chest. Paris. Inhale. Exhale, drop the arms to the left side. Contract the left side of the obliques. Inhale up, face the front. Exhale, take it to the right. We're going to continue this from side to side. One more to each. Inhale, front and center. Exhale, this time lift the feet, take Navasana boat, shoulders back, heart up. Stretch the legs forward, scoop the belly in, let your arms reach forward. Keep breathing. Last one. As you exhale, hug the knees in and lower the head back. All right, sinking the feet to the floor, arms residing alongside your body. Press down through the feet, tuck the tailbone and lift. Drop the shoulders, tuck them under, and elevate your chest. Perhaps lacing your hands. Now find your block. Stack it under the body and rest on it, flipping the palms open. Still breathing slowly and deeply. In and out through the nose. Feeling the angle of the body and how everything's pouring towards the purification center of the throat and the neck. This is good for the thymus gland. It's good for the thyroid gland. And because it's an inversion, it's also good for the pineal pituitary glands. This pose is a good way to calm or cool down hot flashes. It helps the spleen, which purifies the blood. And it can be a calming agent for the mind, especially when we're using support like we're doing now. If you want to float the feet up, you can. Waterfall. We're going to get more active in a moment. This is kind of our prep work. We're going to move into a couple variations of shoulder stand. So if shoulder stand is not in your practice, you can do legs up the wall while we work on that. Or you could stay in supported bridge while we work on that. Maybe just straightening one leg, holding that for a bit, and eventually pulling that foot back and straightening the other for a bit. If you want to stay more active, go ahead and tuck the tailbone, lift away from the block, scoot it out from underneath you. You may not need a blanket for shoulder stand, but I prefer to have a blanket for shoulder stand. So you can use as many as you need to, actually. Usually it's recommended to use 2 to 3, but I just have one available. I'm just going to use one today. Make sure you smooth it out if you use the blanket. It's under your spine, and your neck and your head is free, okay? When we're doing this series, you don't want to turn your head like I'm looking at you now. You want to keep your head still, motionless, centered. When you're ready, let's catch the hips. Move it toward shoulder stand. We're going to place the right foot on the left knee. Bend the top leg and bring that right knee down to the brow. Switch sides, left foot, right knee. Right foot drapes down, knee to the brow. Garudaasana legs. Right leg crosses over the left, right foot underneath the left calf. Separate. Wind the other way. And if you want to sink the legs over the face to plow, take it to plow. Ready to roll out. Stay in it longer if that feels really great. I'm coming out to protect my neck, since I am seeing a chiropractor about my neck right now. I don't want to overdo it. If the blanket's under you, move it off to the side. because we're going to do fish. Let's start the modification for fish. Knees bent, arms up. Bring the arms down beside you. Tuck the shoulders under, puff up your chest. And there's just a slight separation between the chest and the chin. Breathe up into your heart. And so this is good for anyone who can't or shouldn't have that deep flexion through your neck in fish pose. I know after seeing the chiropractor, this next version of the pose is actually really good for me. So we stack and sit on the hands, the legs straight and the toes point. We roll the chest up, hang the head back, and just barely rest on the head. Affirming here as you hold, my soul floats on waves of cosmic light. Exhale, release. We're going to open up the arms, tuck the knees towards the upper body, and then let them roll off to the left. Lounging and breathing into the twist. So twists are said to be some of the most cleansing of the yogic asanas for how much it provides for the body. Inhale, knees draw in. Exhale, roll them the other way. Exit the twist by rolling to your right side. Inhale, coming up. I would like us to end in a restorative position where you're sitting on the bolster, feet off to one side. Now let me go ahead and tell you this. We're going to be sitting on the bolster because we want the shoulders, head, and neck to be on the floor. If you lie down with your heels grounded and it feels like it's too much for your low back, you can do a couple different things. I just have one block here. You can have two blocks, one under each foot or one turned sideways to rest two on. You could also fold or tri-fold a blanket, right, to stack the feet up on. So that's an option. I'm going to keep my feet to the floor, and I wanted to show you that. Now, lots of times I see people doing this. I see the shoulders on and the head way off like that. We actually want the shoulders to touch down. Yes. And then the arms can be A-frame style. And so we're concentrating on this restorative position to bring more blood flow from the body to the lake of the heart, trickle down to the lake of the mind. It has to pass through the throat, that center of purification. Keep doing your deep diaphragmatic breaths. Belly rising on the inhale. Dropping away on the exhale. And for the next few minutes in Shavasana, I want you to think about cleaning out your mind, extracting and weeding out the negative thought patterns, the judgments towards yourself or others. Let's see if the breath can move you in towards those quieter crevices of the mind, where you can be the observer, you can bear witness to all that is. Next inhale, just slide your feet back and just roll over to one side of your body. Rest there if you need to. Eventually come up to take a seat. We're going to sit for a couple minutes in silence for meditation. So meditation is considered not only cleansing for the mind, but it's said to be cleansing for karma. So it's karmic cleansing as well. I like to think of, when we begin meditation practice, think about pouring some soda into a glass, and all the foam and bubbles like kind of come up to the top. And it's kind of the way the mind is at the beginning of meditation. But just as the soda sits in that glass and that fizz starts to slowly die down, right? There's still some carbonated bubbles that want to bubble up, but they're fewer and far between. And so that's what we're doing when we're sitting in meditation. We're distilling the mind. So there may be that bubble of thought that rises up to the surface here or there, but it does get calmer and quieter as we sit, if we don't attach or give life to those thoughts. So let's sit together, closing the eyes, maintaining an open heart. Maybe at first, just observing the in and the outflow of the breath. And eventually no longer even controlling the breath. And that become more organic as well. you need a longer meditation, pause the video. Otherwise, join me by bringing your hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer position at your heart. Remember that the body is said to be the temple that houses our spirit. So if you consider this, think about how clean you would want the dwelling place of your spirit to reside in. This is Saucha, this is cleanliness and purification. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we all walk away from this practice being more free and at peace in our bodies, hearts, and minds. Namaste. So at the very beginning of starting this online studio, I offered a workshop talking about creating a sacred space in your home. And I gave you plenty of examples of different places I have lived, you know, whether it was a 1-bedroom apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, or an actual home, in creating a sacred space for your practice. You want it to be clean, right? So there's less distractions when you're practicing. Otherwise, it's going to pull us out of our practice. So in Feng Shui, they say a cluttered space is a cluttered mind. A clean space helps to clean the mind. The two go hand in hand. So consider cleaning up your space and maybe providing just a small space as your sacred practice space at home, because it's so important. Paramahansa Yogananda used to say, environment is stronger than willpower. Environment is stronger than willpower. So let's put this into practice. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.